All right, let's talk about this. So, KPA, they beat REG 101-97. Let's just talk about this. This was one game for the ages. Very exciting, all the way from the start to finish. It was a very intense game. Both teams were just trading blows pretty well, and it was a game that was just entertaining to watch. And even before we start, I just want to say I've seen all your comments. I've seen all your thousands of comments. You just keep, coming onto my Instagram and Facebook. All that. Keep that same energy when Team Kenya loses. If either KP or Equity lost, when the team loses, nobody says nothing. They don't want to get cancelled. They don't want to get, seen by anybody. Yours truly voices their opinion. I make these videos. I always show up when the team is ass and when the team is great. So let's just get that out of the way. And also, an honorable mention is to K-Hoops, Fred. I know you're gonna watch this video. Yeah, it's actually quite funny. It's a good laugh. I actually enjoy it. The meme culture. It's all showbiz, yeah. But better keep that same energy when Team Kenya loses by 34, 35. Don't be that guy that just posts and just tries to meme another person, and for a fact that you don't even have an opinion, you don't even have anything. Your only job is to just film games and just make memes. So it's all good. It's all entertainment. And with that out of the way, let's just talk about the game, because the previous comments, they're not even related to like anything basketball. They just just AOBs and by the ways. But given what KPA did was just exemplary. It was an exemplary performance. I looked at this game, I live streamed the scores for this game, and possession wise I was just looking at the game and also looking at the film, everything, and it was just an entertaining game from start to finish. KPA specifically, their performance, especially from shooting from downtown, was exemplary. It was something that was great. They shot 47% from downtown as a team, and that 3-point shot that was not non-existent in the previous games that we have seen. Even when KPA beat a team by like 20 to even 25 points, their 3-point shooting was not there, and majority of the time they were just driving the ball inside and having like that versatile offense where some of the possessions that you have, some of them you can decide to drive into the basket or take the three. There had to be a balance, because majority of the time the ball is just being taken inside, and in the inside high percentage shots, sometimes they may go in, sometimes they might not go in. So that's one thing that I was observing, especially when they're playing like those top tier elite teams that I mentioned. And one of those teams was REG, because REG, they look different from how they were in Zone 5. I know KPA had the upper hand in Zone 5. They beat them twice. They beat them in the preliminary round, and I believe in the finals as well. So given like that, there was a mental edge to KPA, especially when they're matching up against REG. But REG, they were busy, especially in acquiring new players. They had 2 WNBA players in there. This is a team that was just retooling and just trying to find a way to be able to get that team to a position where they can just go ahead and win it all. And those 2 signings, their 2 signings paid off, because they were able to get to an unbeaten run. They were 5-0 at the time before this matchup against KPA, where KPA just give them the the worst loss in the tournament. You can't just win all the way then just get knocked off like that in the semis. So given like that performance from KPA and being able to like know how to have a balance between inside shots and also taking perimeter shots from downtown, that was the difference in this game. But because majority of the shots that they were able to take from downtown, they were converting on almost half of them, which was highly unlikely given like the history that we have been looking at on this channel. So, and from the free throw line, 63.2%. And in the rebounds, REG got rebounded. I was afraid that REG are going to like steal the rebounds and be able to like get ahead on the rebounds, but that didn't happen, because KP they were just struggling, and they were not even that struggling as much, but they were just going in for those boards, and it was something that was needed, because you had a player like Rita Oloch averaging a double-double. She had 12 points and 13 boards. So having those defensive boards and just having those key possessions, those second chance points, especially on offensive boards, really helped a ton. And just following up with the plays, that really helped, because sometimes you could see REG, they're over relying on the two signings that they had, and the over reliance on that, or on those two players and that method, rendered the other team unplayable, and they were just complete, and the rest of the team just completely got outplayed because they just didn't have a good game plan against KPA's intensity. Which, give credit to KPA, they did a good job there. Then, even looking at even the other key stats, like in the assists, you can see there was 33 total assists and 3 blocks, which was something that I was looking forward to looking at, because there were some points where you need a stop. You need to establish your dominance and have good rim protection in there. KP are able to offer that. And the turnover bug, that's something that I really felt uncomfortable when I was looking at, because 19 turnovers per game and 10 turnovers coming from one player, that really raised a lot of red flags with me, especially when I was watching this game, because those are possessions that you are supposed to at least take care of and not just throw them away like that. Because every single time there was a steal coming from REG, it was just closing the gap, and at some point in the fourth, any mistake that happened was costly, because there's this time Natalie, she turned over the ball, then REG went in, hit a transition 3, and it went in, or even a key layup, it went in, or even a steal in a layup inside there, it went in. So those are things that I was looking at, and they really somewhat deflated me, because I was really looking at what will KPA do, especially in the second half, because I really look at second half basketball majority of the time. But looking at the key contributors to this game, you could see Natalie, 37 total minutes, 26 points, 13 assists. She was 1 rebound shy from a quadruple double, because she had 10 turnovers, and 10 out of the 19 turnovers came from her. So you could see she clearly did not take care of the basketball that much, and I feel like she didn't have a break-even point when it came to the assist department, because you can't have 13 assists, lead the team in assists, but also lead the team in turnovers like that, because that means your decision making is being put to question as much. But I know majority of the time people are just going to look at the end result and just brush it off as a win. But in my book, there has to be a break-even point, especially when it comes to the assist turnover ratio, because you can't assist the ball 13 times, turn over the ball 10 times. That really hampers the team. And I know turnovers are going to happen, especially when it comes to distributing the rock, but not at this rate. Then we had Victoria Reynolds, the number 1 option in the squad. She was very key, especially in down the stretch in this game, because her productivity was just needed, and her scoring, because she had 4 of 8 threes. Natalie, she led the team in threes with 8 of 15. She actually shot way better than the other times she's played, because sometimes I look at her statistics, they were very inconsistent, especially looking at the previous games. You could see even in the Equity Hawks game, she had 4 points, 12 assists. She's leading the team with 51 assists. 13 of them came from this game against REG. Then if you look at the turnovers, you could see she's also leading the team in turnovers. She's averaging 5.3 turnovers per game, which is quite profound, and those things are not supposed to happen, especially playing that number 1 position. And the inconsistency here really did not give me that much confidence to pick KPA to come out of this whole situation. But hey, basketball, any team can be taken down. I'm not jinxing it, but I'll also release a video talking about KPA versus A Sporting. I know I've made a video talking about the pre-game and also the post-game and what I thought about those two teams, but I'm also going to release a video talking about that. Then we have Medina. She had 12 points in 22 minutes played, 3 of 6 on 2-point land, and 6 of 7 from the free throw line. So shooting the ball from the free throw line, at least in this game, we're able to draw fouls. But looking at the previous games that I've seen, as much as KPA was, fouling the other team, KPA were not able to like draw as much fouls. So even given the fact that KPA shot 63% from the line, they were able to at least draw fouls, which is something that they are not accustomed to doing as much. And they drew fouls at a similar rate to the REG women's team. And given like even going even into what these ladies did, I mean Destiny Philoxy, she played the whole game and she had 41 points. I believe this is a career high. And she was very efficient at it because she was 14 of 25 from the field and 5 of 11 from downtown. So, my God, I've not seen like a I've not seen like that type of scoring production in a single FIBA game like that. But the over reliance of REG on these two players, Tiffany Mitchell and Destiny Philoxy, that strategy came back to bite them brutally because what I saw KPA do was just let them score, but they're going to play some hard D on these other players and make sure that they make it difficult for the other players to score. And that was a very good strategy because given KPA the way they had that intensity, they're not they're not giving up on any play. If it was a missed shot, they're going back for the rebound, either to take it back up or just take it back to the perimeter to reset. That was one thing that I saw that really helped them get over the edge. A few notable mentions that didn't contribute. We got Antoine Bannister. She didn't do it. She didn't do anything in this game because she was listed as a DNP. This game was actually quite intense to the point that I felt like there were players who are not gonna play, and I was sure. And they didn't play actually. So Antoine Bannister was one of them, Yvonne Atieno was one of them, and Dana Pierre was one of them. So this game was just a tough game, especially, and it was not only a tough game to win because every single time KPA scored, REG scored. So keeping the game scoring wise very close. But anyway, and also looking at down shooting from three, Hilda, she was not able to find her shot that much, but she was able to join in the fun with 2 of 6 from downtown. And in 27 minutes played, she had 15 points. So looking at even Destiny Philoxy from REG, I can say she's been the definition of consistent because you could see her scoring output, and and she's been shooting north of like 56% from from the field. So this is somebody that even going off for 41 points was just a given, but I felt like REG's strategy of just putting the ball in her hand and making sure that she scores in every single possession like that, I can say really hampered their chemistry. Not able to like play the basketball that they're used to. I saw even in a FIBA article that they were saying their coach rotates every single player, and every single player in that squad played north of like 5 minutes per game. But in this one it was different because you could see a couple of DNPs. There were a couple of players who played heavy minutes. You could see Destiny Philoxy, she played 40 minutes. By that time, even she was supposed to even like help REG to be able to like cut the deficit. She didn't have the energy to. She's played 40 minutes. You got Betty Kalanga, she played 35 minutes, 34 minutes near Cloden. Tiffany Mitchell, she played 37. So at the time, that strategy didn't work for them, but it worked for KPA because even their top players who scored the most points were not able to be productive down the stretch. And KPA were just able to just capitalize on that. Okay, there were a couple of players that didn't play for KPA, but you could see the grit and grind that KPA had, especially on the defensive end, because when the game was clutch, you could see they needed to make sure to like get a stop or foul and let the player go to the line. There was a couple of dynamics that happened at the end of the game that made the game quite interesting. And when I saw the game like go to 97-99, the only fear I had was if a three went in from REG, that would mean like KPA would have at least drawn a foul or even if the worst case scenario, if they missed a free throw, the game is tied and they go to overtime, or KPA just keep trying to find ways to be able to score down the stretch. And they also found ways to like draw fouls, especially late in the game, and it really really helped down the stretch, and it got them to this position. And even looking at how these players played, I mean, I must say I felt great. I honestly feel the whole objective of like every single game, you're just looking at every single matchup differently. It just gives you a different way to be able to approach the ball game. And my God, at least they were able to reduce the number of X's that were here. Because my God, there were so many X's outside the perimeter. But this time they were able to convert like almost half of them. I know they need to work on at least their mid range, because the next team they're gonna face is a team that is very deadly from deep. They can easily take the best player out of the game, and they can take the team out off their rhythm a lot. So one thing they have to figure out is how they're going to guard the perimeter, because if they're able to figure out how to guard the perimeter, they can make the Sporting versus KPA game quite interesting to see. Because you can see in this situation, the REG team really struggled, especially shooting from downtown. But you could see KPA they're almost getting to the point where they're comfortable taking the threes. And if they're able to like take these threes like this at this rate, and at least even get the shooting percentage to at least 50, and also just keep attacking inside with their size in there, they can make games interesting, and they might even win the whole thing eventually. So that's just my opinion. So you do drop me your comments in the comment section on what you think. I of course I feel very proud of KPA, and honestly, this was one of those games that it was just a nail biter all through. I really was afraid of the fact that REG were going to like prove me right. I really wanted them to prove me wrong at all. But given like the way statistically I looked at that matchup, I just gave REG the nod. But anyway, it's basketball, anything can happen. 101 KPA, 97 REG. I can't say like it was a dominating game where KPA won comfortably, because if I said that, I would be lying, because there were some points in the game where KP, the offense was a bit shaky at the time, especially late in the game when REG were just cutting the deficit. But honestly, I like the way the ladies played. They played exemplary. I'm not taking anything away from that. I know I made a bracket saying that REG are gonna win, but hey, if it works to like if you take that personal and go ahead in the court and just ball out, that's a good thing, because at least you're able to challenge the best teams. And this doesn't even make KPA an elite team. They should be elite if they win the championship and win the whole thing. That's when they'll be elite. But unless they are able to overcome the demons of the Sporting team, I don't think that they are still on that level, because any team can have an historic run. It's like the Phoenix Suns making the finals, or even the Toronto Raptors making the finals. It's not something that happens every year. So if you guys like the video, make sure you leave your feedback down in the comments on what you think. And I'm out. Peace.